Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Inner Circle, an Xbox podcast by friends for fans. I'm your host, Straight Murder, being joined by my clanmate Game God and my homie Bmuny. And today's topic will focus on Microsoft's pre-E3 announcement and today's Quantum Break teaser and a little bit of Sony. So let's start with Quantum Break. Today they showed the teaser. I think since the last time they showed it, which was at which show was that? I think it was GDC, and no, it wasn't GDC. I'm sorry, it was VGX Awards, and we were pretty impressed with it. We slowed it down, and we've seen some snippets of gameplay here and there, but today we finally get to really see some, in-game gameplay, and it was pretty impressive. I thought that it was definitely a game that left you with a lot of mystery because you really didn't know exactly what was going to happen with the whole TV show thing and the whole game thing and how that was supposed to mix together. But for what he's saying, if you watch the show, you're going to be finding out what the villain is doing. And then from the other perspective, when you play the game, you're playing the game as a hero and you're stopping everything that this guy is doing after watching it, which is a really cool concept. So hopefully it pans out. But what are your guys' thoughts on today's teaser? I'll start with you, Ben.
Let me tell you something. That when I was watching that trailer, I said to myself, "Oh my God, this game looks crazy." The video was it looked CGI. It looked like it was something out of like a Final Fantasy cutscene. It did not look like a video of a in-game gameplay, anything of that sort. I was blown away. I'll tell you that much. I say this with a loose set of terms here. Every time I see a game where the graphics look like they are too good to be true, I gotta tell you, sometimes they usually are because they suffer with gameplay and story. So I hope that's not the case here. I'm gonna be optimistic. 2015. I can't wait.
That's what's up. B, what you think?
For me, I was definitely blown away with it, man. I think Remedy has always done a great job with their games, and just visually, I think it's definitely one of the best games that we've seen so far. And there's rumor back when they first unveiled that game that the part where the character is actually going through that glass, that shattered glass to save the woman, that's actual in-game footage. That's not like a cutscene or wasn't like CG just made up for the event. So if it can perform like that while I'm actually playing a game, man, I would definitely enjoy that.
I think that the game being pushed back to next year is major, and I think that I really believe that Remedy is trying to get this game at its best quality, the best performance, and the best resolution you can get on there. There's so much controversy with the Xbox One running at 900p. Some games are 1080, but the frame rate is a little wobbly, and things like that. All these excuses that the other camp wants to call it. I think with the announcement of DX12 coming out next year, and so many games, so many big games that are dropping, being pushed back to next year, it says a lot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, man. Being that it supposedly got pushed back, being that Remedy themselves or Microsoft themselves never said that it was coming out in 2014. With the announcement of DX12, which is supposed to be a game changer for the console, you have games like The Witcher being pushed back. You have games like you have The Witcher being pushed back. There's a rumor that The Division's being pushed back. You have obviously Quantum Break being pushed back. These games being pushed back are clearly using DX12, and
But do you think it's the DX12 that's pushing them back, or do you think it's it could be other things? I mean, there's a lot of games coming out.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, they're pushing their games back just to make their games better on Xbox. I'm not gonna say that. But if Microsoft and DX12 is what they say it is, and you can get the best quality game you can get, especially for all PC platforms. Remember, The Witcher is a PC game that's ported to the PS4 and the Xbox One, just like last gen. It wasn't like the games were first created on these consoles. No, there's a PC game. So if they can use DX12, why wouldn't they? If they can get the most out of the DX12, why wouldn't they? And the greatest part about it is that because the Xbox One is built for DX, it actually should be a much improved game. Now, that's not to say that the PlayStation version won't be good or better, because the system by itself is just such a straightforward system. But the fact that the Xbox One is built for DX, it should be on par, if not maybe slightly better than the PlayStation 4 version. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a fact I'm talking. This is an opinion. So before people jump down my throat and things like that, based on the history of the start of this generation, yeah, as of right now, Sony has the advantage. But if they're saying what they're saying, a lot of these developers, Microsoft developers, the engineers, they're saying that DX12 is really going to push this game and push this console, then there's a possibility that these games, they may be a changing of the guard. It really may be a changing of the guard. So I definitely look forward to next year, and hopefully. So, speaking of that E3 and everything, what I wanted to talk about was this supposedly major third-party exclusive that is coming from Microsoft. And I have no idea what it can be. It can be any number of titles. People have suggested Shenmue. Someone has suggested they worked out a deal with Nintendo. There's a possibility it could be a new Mario game for the Xbox. I don't know the likelihood of that. I don't know the likelihood of that is going to be true. I'm pretty sure it's in the 0%, 0.1% of possibility. But the game that I believe it is the new game coming from Epic. Which is based on the Samaritan demo that I've been reading about in the rumored E3 leak, as well as a couple other places where they're talking about this demo that is supposed to be face melting with the graphics and things like that, and it's going to be a new hit franchise for the Xbox One. I have no idea what this game is, but as of right now, that is the game that I think it is. Do you guys have any idea what it could possibly be, or any theories on what it might be? Let's start with Bmuny.
Yeah, actually, I thought it would be Epic as well. Giving up another third-party game. I mean, if you look at the success that Gears of War had, I mean, they sold over 20 million units with that franchise, and they had an excellent relationship with Epic. And they pretty much sold them the Gears of War IP for next to nothing. You know what I mean? Epic could have easily kept that and made it a multi-plat game. You know what I mean? That could have came to PlayStation this gen. But, they handed it off to Microsoft, and Microsoft is going to develop, a new Gears. So, I mean, if they kept that same relationship, man, it might be from Epic. But then I started thinking, like, a lot of people were speculating that it could be something from Capcom. Maybe it's a new Resident Evil or something like that.
That'd be big.
Capcom. I did hear Capcom.
That'd be big. But, does Resident Evil still hold the same weight? I don't think so.
No, it definitely doesn't hold the same weight. I mean, if you look at the past two games.
The past two Resident Evils bombed on. I mean, I think they bombed, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, the last good one was Resident Evil 4. I mean, and we were playing that on the GameCube.
That game was the stuff right there.
Yeah, so, I mean, hopefully it's something from Epic. I want it to be an established developer.
Go ahead.
Who we know can give us a good game. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be a third-party game that comes out and then, you know, it just sits there. Nobody actually buys it. So,
you know, when me and Wood, we talked about this, you know, many times on different theories of what it might be and what it may happen. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there. You know, when we talked about Phantom Dust being you know, the trademark being put up again. I mean, that to me, that Phantom Dust game was awesome. We talked about Shenmue just like we just did right now. I mean, we threw out developers out there, you know, publishers, you know, Insomniac, you know, Capcom was brought up, you know. But what do you think about a Konami maybe? You know, I think that for Microsoft, it'd have to be something where no one would see it coming. And I think, you know, if we're going to talk developer-wise for 1 second, you know, an Insomniac would be huge for Microsoft to grab. If we're talking a platform, you know, what if they steal a game from, you know, Sony's library and make it only for the Xbox, you know?
That could be a possibility, and that would be a really big possibility that happens. And I hope that may actually be true.
You know, what was that lady who left Sony, who was from who did I think it was the Uncharted series?
That was Amy Hennig. Amy Hennig.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she becomes a Microsoft person?
Yeah, I mean, well, she's got hired at what is the name of that company that's doing?
She's over at EA.
She's at
Visual
EA.
Games.
Oh, she's at
She's
EA.
working
Okay.
on the new Star Wars game.
Okay, yeah. So I missed that one then.
Yeah, she's working on the new Star Wars game.
You know, but you know, we got things that can happen. There's a lot of things that can happen. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised. But with all the news that's been dripping out in the last couple of weeks, man, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. Real quick, listeners, we got a new member that came into the group right now. His name is Paul Yellis Effect. We're just sitting here talking about a major third-party exclusive that Microsoft picked up. And what are your thoughts on it? What do you think is the possibility of the deal?
My thoughts on this are simply that I believe it's Platinum Games, a studio out of Japan.
Right.
And they're, I believe that's where the exclusive third party is coming from. And I think we'll hear about an announcement at E3.
Do you have any idea of what game it could possibly be?
Man, I've looked through, tried to dig up some information on it, and I'm hearing a title, Rug Puddle. And I believe that's just a code name for it. They're describing it as like a Beautiful Joe type of 2D side-scrolling kind of game with like Pseudo 3D background graphics. But it's hard to say. You know, Platinum Games did give us Vanquish, if you guys remember that game for the 360.
Vanquish. Yeah, Vanquish was a cool game.
Yeah.
I think Rug Puddle is probably a third-party game coming from Platinum just for the Microsoft Japanese movement, but I don't know if it's that big game. I mean, it has to be on a level where my theory, if it's not Shenmue and if it's not Platinum Games, because look, it's as good as Sunset Overdrive looks and as amazing as it's going to be. The whole point of us getting that IP was that we did not keep the IP. That's the whole point, you know. Insomniac is able to keep their IP, they're able to do whatever they want with it. I'm pretty sure that Microsoft will announce some type of 3-game contract with Insomniac, and it'll only be on Xbox probably for the life of the console. But I think that it could be the remake of Final Fantasy VII from Square. And there's 2 reasons why I think that. One, we all know that Sony's gone broke to a certain extent, and they just pulled all their shares from Square, and that could be a sign saying that, look, you want to go ahead and play with the enemy, we're done with you, we want nothing to do with you. The other thing is, there's a rumor that Microsoft put up this money to go ahead and have that remake, which would be honest with you, that would shut E3 down. That would literally shut E3 down. If you got a 2014 remade, revamped Final Fantasy VII with freaking movie-style CGI cutscenes, kind of like the Final Fantasy movie, it would be mind-blowing. And it's the perfect setup for people to go out who don't want to connect to buy that $399 console. Is sitting there waiting for you, and it comes out the same freaking day of E3. This is a planned attack. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, you know what's funny? I'm just thinking here. Can you remember that game back in the day on PS2? Was it PS2? Maybe PS1? Dino Crisis?
Dino Crisis, yes.
Yes. There's been some
title.
rumors. There's been a couple rumors that I've dug up that possibly it might be a Dino Crisis reveal, but it might be coming back.
That might work. And you know why that might work? Because Dead Rising did so well with the cloud and the zombie generator. Imagine a dinosaur generator in an open world setting with dinosaurs. Oh, that would be fucking amazing.
You know, it would. I'm thinking something from Capcom. The more I think about it, you know, Capcom hasn't had a great. The last year or two hasn't been really exceptional for them. You know, they've had some hits here and there. The last Devil May Cry game came out, wasn't a great game for them. I thought it was an awesome game. Didn't do as well as they thought it was going to do. You know, all their money pretty much is coming from Street Fighter at the moment.
Right.
So,
Capcom,
you know,
Capcom isn't in dire straits, man. They to do a deal like this with Microsoft really wouldn't make sense.
Well,
Yeah.
if you
Plus,
I'm not talking about shutting themselves off as a company away from another system. I'm just saying a game. Can you imagine a Devil May Cry 5 6-month exclusive to Microsoft?
Yeah, that would be cool. Go ahead, Bmuny.
Yeah, it would definitely help the sales of the Xbox platform for sure. So it makes total sense.
You know, it won't hurt Capcom. They're going to get money for it, and it is going to come out on the PlayStation. It'll just come out later, and then when they release it on Sony, they'll add some extra stuff to it, so they don't lose any ground with Sony either.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, you know, it's
Go ahead, B.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you take a look at Capcom's recent history, man, I mean, they've been going broke, and then, like, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, out of nowhere, they buy like 2 R&D buildings.
Yeah, the 2 R&Ds, right.
Uh-huh.
to start developing games. So they got that money from somewhere. You know, I mean, if you look at Street Fighter, I mean, they're milking.
Oh, they're milking Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter's getting milk. Man, I'm surprised it's still giving milk.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Fighter 4 has been going on for like 4 years now, 5 years maybe.
Right. I think
You know, go ahead.
There's a lot of speculation, man, that RE6 might, or not RE7, excuse me, might, you know, maybe be announced for the PS4 at E3, but you know, I don't know, man. It's going back and forth between Xbox One, but in my opinion, I think that's a multi-platform title.
But are you excited for an RE game?
If they reboot it, man. If they reboot it, start fresh, because I mean, you guys know that the RE6 was kind of a disaster.
Disaster, bro. That game was a smorgasbord of hamburger helper. You know, I don't know, man. That game was it tried to build a little bit of everything, a little bit of nothing.
Yeah,
I couldn't play that game.
No,
game.
And the Chris Redfield segments, those segments of the game were probably the worst.
Oh, it was painful, bro. It was painful.
Yeah,
It was trying to be Gears of War, but it was failing miserably. So
I played. You know, in its defense, I've played probably an hour and a half of that game, and I promise you, that was an hour and a half too much.
Wow, it was that bad, huh?
Yeah, it was rough, man. I mean, I was big on you know, Bmuny said earlier, Resident Evil 4. I love that game. I played that game till my fingers bled.
Right.
You know, that game was something else. And then, you know, 5 didn't do nothing for me, but I still played it.
Right.
But 6, jeez. So, you know, if a 7 came out, it's gonna remind me of 6, and I'm just gonna be like, no, that's okay. I don't want to do this.
Well, they're gonna have to go ahead and take it back to the roots, and you know, supposedly they're talking about Resident Evil 7 is gonna go back to the roots.
Are you talking about Wesker?
I'm talking about you walk down that hallway and that fucking Doberman jumped through the window. Yeah, if they can get back to that, then they got a nice little successful thing on their hands.
Barry?
Look, Capcom, they got some games. I mean, we're getting a little off subject, but Capcom has some games, and I think that Dino Crisis would be major if Microsoft picked it up. They definitely look They definitely look Street Fighter, and this is one of the reasons why I liked what Microsoft did with Killer Instinct. A lot of people didn't like it, but I love the fact that they did that. It gives you the opportunity to have 3 ways of purchasing what you want. You can pick up the characters individually, you can get all the characters for $20, or you can get the full thing for pretty much $40. And I mean, you can't beat the price at $40 when you get every costume, every character. You were getting characters every month. The free-to-play model was pretty good because they were rotating characters for you so you could get a feel of what you like. It was a really great model. Instead of me spending another $40 on a game I already have because they added 4 more fucking characters. It's insane. I don't understand what Capcom logic is in that. I got Super Street Fighter. Now they added 6 more characters. And instead of it being either free or DLC, I'm paying another $40 for the game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the thing to take away from the whole thing basically is I think we all can agree that we believe that there's something brewing between Microsoft and Capcom as far as an exclusive.
Right.
That's a very strong case that might be an exclusive that they announce at E3 between those two.
So
very strong.
So we'll go with right now. Capcom is the #1 potential suitor for that third party exclusive Megaton. And if it is,
I'm gonna just throw this out real quick.
Go ahead.
They've been talking about how they really want to reach Japan, the Japanese market.
Right.
So what if the game from Capcom is either a Monster Hunter or a Mega Man game?
I was thinking the same thing.
If Monster Hunter. If it's a Monster Hunter game, let me tell you something. You want to talk about shutting E3 down? Japan will be closed down for business if they Monster Hunter game. See, that game right there, and I'm speaking from experience because my son is 12 years old. And let me tell you something, whether it's Minecraft or it's Monster Hunter, that's the only thing that kid talks about. And Monster Hunter, if you do some research on it and you look at the people who are from Japan, and it's really big in Japan, they open amusement parks with Monster Hunter themes. So that's how sick that is. So if Microsoft came out, and I mean, all they have to say is they come out there and say Monster Hunter 4 for the Xbox One. Okay, thank you very much. That's it. That's all they have to say. They wouldn't have to show any gameplay. They wouldn't have to show no pictures. They throw a poster up there, have them come out in little Chinese dragon dancing suits and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm just saying, Monster Hunter will be
get crazy with it.
Yeah. That'll be the theme of that. Get crazy with it. Instead of getting jiggy with it, get crazy with it.
Phil can just drop the mic when he's done announcing it. Just drop it on the floor.
Yeah.
Xbox One, bitches.
So
I'm out.
Just to end that particular topic, if that did happen, there's so much you could do with it. It could easily make you prove that the Kinect is worthy. You can go ahead and run something like maybe you're hunting somebody, but if any noise is made in your house, the Kinect picks it up and the monster turns around. The possibilities are endless. And for those people,
hey, Murder, stop giving up your ideas, bro.
I'm just saying.
You gotta stop giving them up, man. You're making somebody rich.
Listen, if you want to get this Kinect sold, you have to start pressing these developers to start figuring out how to use it properly. We can do all the shit with a mic, but the camera has to be sold. Like, just imagine reading your heartbeat and you're cool, and a velociraptor comes out the woods at you, and you're like, holy shit, now your heart rate is pumping, you're running, you're trying to get ready. They have to figure out a way to get this stuff.
It's funny when you mentioned have to make a way to make the Kinect work. It brings me back to the days when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out. And, I played it and everybody's played that game where, you know, they talked about the memory card slot, and they talked about, you know, how it made it look like the game shut off. You know, I remember another game on the GameCube, Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness, man. That's such a
it was
game.
classic, man. Classic for the game.
And let me tell you, see, look at when I mentioned the game, it took you guys back to when you were like probably 12, 13 years old, and you're playing this game. You're like, what the hell happened to my GameCube? Why didn't it take a shut off? You know, so. And we didn't have a Kinect back then, but it utilized that little box. Utilized our senses.
Right.
It you know. So now here we are. Fast forward 55,000 years to the future, and we have a Kinect, which goddamn near can tell us the lottery numbers, and what we're doing with it is talking to it. Right. We're using it wrong. We are using it wrong.
Definitely using it wrong. So
I think.
There's hey, enough of that, guys. Gotta move on. Today, Sony announced that they are changing their PS Plus program. If you guys didn't know, you are now getting 2 games a month for each console. So that would be 2 games for the PlayStation 4, 2 games for the PS3, and 2 games for the PS Vita. Now,
hey, Bird, before you get into that, take it a step back. And go back to when they announced, Microsoft announced how they're taking a page out of Sony's book,
right?
And doing, you know, they say, oh, we're gonna do the 2 games, you know, for free as long as you have a subscription. You know, they took that from Sony. As long as you have a subscription, the game is yours.
Right.
And I find it funny how Sony now takes a page from Microsoft and says, instead of us giving out a whole bunch of games randomly and stuff like that, we're just gonna give you 2 games a month. It's kind of just funny how they're just taking a page from each other. I thought it was funny.
Man.
The funny thing about it, though, when you look at it from that perspective, is that my personal opinion on it is that I don't think Sony wanted to do it, because look, there's two things wrong, just because the ponies are just going crazy. And when I mean ponies, I'm not talking about the genuine fanboys that understand the difference between the consoles and respect the differences between the consoles. I'm talking about those rabid fanboys that can't see straight, and if it's not Sony and it's not PlayStation, there's nothing at all, and it's death. But what I'm trying to say is, look, Sony is broke. Let's just get this clear. Sony is beyond broke, and in the PS3 era and the early PS4 era, they spoiled those ponies. I mean, they weren't feeding them hay. They were giving them apples, oranges, bananas, and these ponies were going crazy. And now you take it away.
Look, I mean, simple fact is it's the industry we're in, man, and these companies, these big companies, they're gonna copy each other. I mean, but that's not just the gaming industry. That's any industry.
Right. But I don't think they did it on purpose. I think they did it because they can't afford to keep it up. They can't afford to keep giving away indie games.
You're talking 2 games per platform, 6 games, and we're not talking about one game that's just across multi-platforms. We're talking about 6 individual different games. So they're paying 6 different developers or publishers or whoever they're paying.
But to me it was worse because you had so many indie games they gave away. Like they gave indie games away like puppies. You know what I'm saying?
It is. Yeah, you're true. Between the giving them games away and the discounts that they give.
That's what I'm saying. You had crazy discounts. You was giving away damn near 4 to 6 indie games. On top of that, you gave away a AAA title. And it wasn't like a AAA title like Microsoft did with their games for go on the 360 when they were just giving away shit like freaking the Avatar game, King of the Keplings or some shit like that. No, they were giving away games like Tomb Raider and
you see what they're giving? You see what they're giving away in June? NBA 2K14.
That's what I'm saying. 2K14. You got to pay out the ass for that. To allow that to be free, and they can't sustain that right now. You can't. There's no way they can sustain that as a company. And they had to drop that model down to Microsoft's model.
The second part to that is that is if I'm a gamer and I know that Sony's going to be giving out top line games, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm gonna wait.
Right.
It's going to come free.
Right. Yeah.
That is exactly what I said, and like I said, I own, the PlayStation products. I own the PS3, and I have PlayStation Plus. So for the longest time, I didn't buy any PlayStation game.
Right.
Because why would I? First of all last year they had PlayStation Plus on sale. So I ended up getting a PlayStation Plus for $30. So for $30
Jeez,
for
look
the
at that.
entire year, you gave me AAA titles every month. So I at least got 2 to 3 AAA titles every month. So $30 paid for itself within the first month.
Right.
Within the first week.
Pretty much.
So why would I go out and buy a PlayStation game? If I can just wait every month, you're going to give me 2 to 3 titles every month, and I don't have to take any money out of my pocket. I gave you my $30.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Bmuny. I bought a Vita. Beginning of April. I don't know. Don't ask me why. I just bought it.
Wow, man. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't resist. I was going on a trip. Anyway, so I bought a Vita, and I go to the store. I go to my local video game store. I won't give nobody no plug. And I stand there and look at the wall and I say, what am I going to buy? I don't know what to buy. So I call my friend. Long story short, he says, don't buy a game, buy the PlayStation Plus. Buy $20 PlayStation Plus for 3 months. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And he told me you get all these games for free. I didn't believe him. Because you get Uncharted for free. You get, what was the other game? Gravity Rush. He told me a bunch of games. I was like, no way. So I said, I'm going to buy it. Man, I bought a Vita and PlayStation Plus. I didn't buy any games. I have probably 9-10 games. I have Street Fighter versus Tekken. I mean, why? I mean, you're cannibalizing yourself. So you're right, Bmuny. I mean, I didn't buy any games for it, and I have probably more games than I would have had if I bought a game.
Right. And I think what they realize is that they can't give away a AAA title, at least not this early on the PS4. Right. They stuck with the indie games because
do they got AAA titles?
Not
many, man. Not many.
They stuck with the indie titles because they know they can give those indie devs, a portion of what they would have got if someone just bought the game. So they figure, they have a great install base. Most people are going to download the free title regardless just because it's free, and they could pay the indie dev, a couple bucks, per download or whatever. If they would have released, let's just say Killzone. Killzone had a decent selling when it released, even though it was the most traded in game of next gen.
Game. Exactly.
So if they would have released that game for free, and they would have to pay all those devs for every time somebody downloaded it, it sold 1 million, I think, 1.5 million or something like that. If 5 million people would have downloaded that game because they got it for free, PlayStation would have been done. Yep. There's no way that they would have been able to pay those devs for every one of those downloads. So they stuck with indies, and now they realize, we're giving away too many AAA games on PS3, giving away too many AAA games on PlayStation Vita. We got to scale it back and try to save some of this money. So, and I think that's why they did it.
But to go on Wood's thing there is that, is it too late? Has the damage been done?
I don't know, man. I think the damage has been done on a larger scale, not just because they give away free stuff, but because, I mean, they've been taking a hit for a long time. I mean, the PlayStation brand still is not profitable. You know what I mean? It's just really not starting
something to add to that.
What's that? Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, something to add to that is they're reporting that I believe by the second half of this year that the PS4 will start to turn a profit. It will become profitable. So, that's what they're saying. So I guess it's kind of like a wait and see kind of approach. And I guess they're, I mean, when you have Microsoft and they make this kind of announcement, a couple weeks ago, and then they're just keep building momentum. I mean, they're making announcement after announcement, not besides the games with gold. So when when Sony sees that, of course, they're going to have to do something to sort of fire back. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it all shakes out. We still have to look. We still have to look and see what is Xbox going to offer us with the games with gold. every month. Is it going to be worth it in our estimation? I mean, we just have to wait and see.
Halo Spartan Assault is a nice start, man. That's a nice game right there.
Yeah, I think that, excuse me, I think to start it out, the first month, it seems solid. What is it, Max Curse the Brotherhood and Spartan Assault. So yeah, so that I think that starts it off solid. I mean, that's reasonable. That's a little bit more reasonable than what Sony's doing. So then I think that's what we were talking about. But so we'll see how it all pans out. It's gonna take time.
The thing for me is, okay, so Max Brotherhood, that game was pretty successful as an indie game on the Microsoft console. And so you look at it, it's only been out. How long has Max been out? 4 months? 5 months?
Yeah. About 5 months, yes. Yeah,
so the people who just recently bought it, what do they get?
Right.
You know what I mean? You see the silence? It's like, I'd be upset as a Microsoft person. Like, hey, I supported you guys, and what do I get? Should they get a refund?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. It's like, look, it's a double-edged sword. It's like either you are a one of the guys that went out and got a day one console. Anytime you get a system, there's going to be some type of repercussions with that. We all know you might get a dead system. They may drop the price in a few months. That's just one of the consequences of being a new gamer. But hey, I feel like I've gotten so much out of my console. And the greatest thing about it is that I got to watch my console grow. The console that I got at launch
is such a proud dad.
The console at launch is not the console at the present time today. I mean, the amount of things they've done, the promotion of Phil Spencer, it's an amazing transition.
Yeah.
So I could tell you for a fact, being a gamer since I've been 8, 9, maybe 7 years old, that in this short amount of time that the system, first of all, for the amount of updates that the system has done in the 6 months, 7 months that's been out.
Yeah, there's been an update literally about every month.
There's been consoles that haven't gotten updates to a year and a half after they've been out, and it's you're looking at every month. You're right, Wood. It's grown. It's definitely grown, and we're not talking about little BS updates. We're talking about major updates. We're talking about external hardware updates, sound mixer updates. We're talking about updates to the friends list and how you can see it and how it interacts with your machine. And I mean, there have been some major updates for them to put all that's first of all, that's money. You have a team that has a deadline that has every month we need to come out with another update. Every month we need to come out with another update. So you're pumping money into R&D to make sure that they are coming up with new stuff. So I'm impressed. You can call it what you want. People, the Sony fanboys are spinning by saying, well, they need to because their system is so obsolete compared to ours or something like that. I don't see it like that. I see it as they're thinking, what's good for tomorrow? What's good for next week and next month? How we're going to make sure we stay ahead of the curve. Let's be proactive, not reactive.
As long as they can continue to do that, they'll definitely be on the right path, and they've obviously been making the right moves and the right choices. So, Ben's got to head out, or shall I say Game Guy's got to head out. We appreciate the talk this week. We will see you after E3, and hope you have a good night, brother.
Yep. Guys, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. I wish I could stick it out, but just so you guys know, I am in like 110-degree weather here in my house with no AC, and I am in the only room that has an AC at the moment, and I have my family out in the living room. So I'm sorry, guys. I gotta be
man, I don't envy you, man.
I'll catch you guys on the Xbox Live.
Yeah, man.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to continue on to Halo. Nice little game we've been talking about recently on the internet a lot. The announcement of Halo 5 being released next year obviously was something special. It definitely was E3 worthy. And then the rumor of the Halo Master Chief Collection caught a lot of attention from a lot of people. But what I'm hearing is that it's not a collection, is that it is a brand new game it is called Halo Journey, obviously for a reason. And from what I understand, the game is based on flashbacks from Master Chief, and it takes the best parts of the campaign of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and makes them an entire game all the way up to where he is, as he questions what he has been fighting this whole entire time while searching for Katana. Now, my question to you guys is, as good as that may sound, is it the right decision to go with that game, or is it better to let everybody just play the original series over from the start, game for game, stage for stage?
I'll start with that. I'm gonna go with the Halo 1 through 4 collection. I believe that my feeling is that's what's going to be announced at E3. I'm not sure about this Journey thing. And this is something new that this sort of popped up on the news wire. But the thing is, I think the major thing is everybody's looking for that Halo 2, right? That's the go-getter. That's the one everybody's excited about. And I think the biggest question really is are they going to mess with that multiplayer? Are they gonna give us the multiplayer just as it was on Halo 2? Are they gonna actually redesign it and remap the controls for how it is on Halo 4? And I think the big thing is I'm hoping not. And if they do it, I just think they're gonna alienate their fan base. They're gonna alienate the fan base a little further. But I don't know. I mean, that's kind of where I sit on the whole thing. I'm hoping it's the collection, and I hope they keep the Halo 2 multiplayer just as it was.
I haven't heard about the Journey thing, but that definitely sounds interesting, and it actually makes me believe that actually could be a little bit more true, especially when you think about the trailer that they released last year where Master Chief is kind of just walking around in the desert by his lonesome, and sun pops up right above him, and then when you look at the Guardians cover art, and it's got Master Chief and then a reflection of the new character. So the Journey thing actually sounds kind of interesting, but I would definitely prefer to have the 1 through 4, just because, like, if you think about it, I mean, 360 had a life of eight years. It released in 05, November 05. So I mean, it's actually been going on for 9 years now when you think about it. And then there's 2 previous games before that on the original Xbox that, I mean, if you're 15, 16 years old, you probably never played, you know what I'm saying, the first Halo or the second Halo. You don't even know what that greatness is about. So, if you're trying to grab, those fans who weren't there when Halo initially started, then the Halo 1 through 4 makes the most sense to me, because you grab that high school kid, you know what I'm saying, who's never really experienced Halo, and then you take them through the whole journey, and then you get them pumped up for 5. And if you just take them through like that journey game, you don't get the full experience. You don't get the same multiplayer. You don't really understand why Halo is this big name that it is. You know what I mean? So hopefully it's the 1 through 4. I'm excited. I'm hoping for the 1 through 4. So hopefully that's it. But I mean, either way, I'll take it, man. It's Halo. So
I mean, for me, being that I
in.
played all the Halos, and I discovered Xbox through Halo. Like I said before earlier in the show, I was a huge PlayStation fan. I mean, listen, when PlayStation 2 came out, first of all, I was a Dreamcast guy. I was devastated when Dreamcast died out, and once I crossed over to PS2, I never looked back. And it's an amazing console, one of the greatest of all time. And I hated Microsoft. I mean, I hated Xbox. I used to work for GameStop, and I literally deterred people from buying an Xbox. I mean, I probably at least killed at least 1% of Microsoft's console sales by myself, because I just hated the Xbox. There was nothing impressive about it for me, just other than the power, the graphics. I was not blown away by it at all. And there were so many great RPGs. I mean, you had Final Fantasy X, which was amazing. You had Arc the Lag, which was amazing. You had Baldur's Gate, which was amazing. I mean, those were just some really great RPGs. And then you had, some really good sports titles. This is when 2K was coming out and it was still battling when live was relevant. You had Madden, you had NFL 2K football. You just had all of these games, and it was an amazing console. And one day, I go to my homeboy's house and we just play Halo, the first game, and we're playing co-op. And I can't put that big ass turtle shell on the controller down. I can't do it. I'm just stuck. I'm stuck on the game. I'm driving the Warthog, and we're going from point A to point B, and Cortana's giving us waypoints, and we're following the waypoints, and we're just everywhere. And I'm like blown by how big the maps are, and I'm blown by the graphics and the sound quality and the grunting of the grunts and the elites, and I'm just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And then they drop the flood, and I'm like, what the? And I'm just blown because it's just like, they won't die. They just keep coming. They're called the flood for a reason. We gotta run. We gotta get out of here. And not to mention, the ending was absolutely amazing. And I mean, listen, I can go on and on, about 2 with the Arbiter and 3. It's an amazing franchise that people don't get. They think that it's just, oh, you're in outer space and you're killing aliens, but it's a lot deeper than that. And Microsoft, I hope, which I think they did in part 4, delve more into the whole, Forerunner war and the whole Promethean thing, and make people realize that the story's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that, and how, human evolution really regressed because of that, because of the flood, because of the Forerunners, and we had to start all over again. And now Master Chief is that guy that is the one human that's taking that step back to being a Promethean. And that's a spoiler. Sorry, guys, if you don't know, if you haven't played Halo 4. But I think that you can't go wrong either way. I think if you get the Halo collection, for those of us that haven't played it, they would love it. For those of us that have played those games over and over, maybe we don't want to go through that again. Maybe we just want to play a game with a new engine, with nice, new graphics, and all based in the Halo 5 universe. Because there would be cutscenes from Halo 5 to a certain extent where Master Chief's just walking around trying to figure out how he got to where he is, and as he reminisces from Halo 1. So maybe we might get a stage or 2 or 3 from Halo 1, a stage or 2 or 3 from Halo 2, a stage or 2 or 3 from Halo 3, a stage or 2 or 3 from Halo 4, and that encompasses the whole game. And I mean, you have these really great parts of those games that you played over. So in the end, it leads you all the way back to where Master Chief is now. I think that would be really, really cool, but it also limits the full story of what made those games so great to people who haven't played them.
The thing that is unknown is we don't know who's actually developing this other game. Whatever.
Actually, I kind of dug out some stuff on that. I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's Certain Affinity? Is Certain Affinity doing it?
There's two studios supposedly that have been turning away. Certain Affinity and Tiber Interactive.
Okay.
Who both those guys are the ones that worked on Halo.
The collection, right?
Legend, yeah. Well, Halo, the original release of Halo Anniversary.
The anniversary, yeah.
They kind of I think shared the duty on the game. And I think it's sort of what we're dealing with now. There's even some talk that Microsoft may actually look at acquiring the studios full time to just have them work on remakes.
That would be good. That would be that wouldn't be bad. I made a plea to Phil Spencer yesterday. I said, listen, after watching Halo 4, I know 343 has talent, because Halo 4 was just a beautiful game. I mean, when I walked into that ship, that first level of that ship, and I see the size of that grunt, and the size of that Elite, and I'm like, holy crap, these things are not the same size they were with Bungie. I'm like, this is really impressive. I mean, the graphics were amazing. I want to see what else they can do. I need them to do another franchise besides Halo. I don't know how Phil's going to do it, but he needs to take a group of those guys and get them on another franchise. And this is exactly what we were talking about on Twitter.
Yes.
As far as maybe a new Crimson Skies, maybe another game that happens in space where they can use the talent they have for making Halo and build or recreate a new franchise with their talent.
Yeah, and I totally agree, and I know Bmuny agrees, because I know me and him have been on there before, and we've actually talked with Phil Spencer, and he's basically, he kind of dodges it, but he does acknowledge the fact that 343, he thinks that they could take on other projects in the future. So that's good. It's good to hear that, at least, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, our final topic for today is the Xbox E3 that's coming up. They've announced so many games this pre-E3 that a lot of guys question what do they have left. And my thing is, you just announced Quantum Break, which was literally your moneymaker supposedly for this year. And you announced Halo. You announced a $399 SKU without a Connect, and you announced Sunset Overdrive. And every single last one of those games have all received positive reception and feedback. But if you're announcing these games, what the hell do you have at E3 that is going to blow our minds? Because those games already blow my mind. So that means you have something even more impressive to show. So, I mean, what do you guys have any idea what it could possibly be, or what games could Microsoft get or produce that would be bigger than what they're showing us right now in May?
I've done a lot of digging on this, and I know Bmuny has too. My feeling is, I'm gonna call this, and this is just my prediction, but Sunset Overdrive's out of the way. I think you might get another surprise. I don't think Sunset Overdrive is gonna be there. I think there might be a trailer or just something like that. And then we ended the
multiplayer.
Go ahead.
No, I think they'll show the multiplayer there. Just show it off real quick and then get off. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so the multiplayer might actually show that off. They might do a demo or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's possible. I did forget about that. But as far as probably a lot of stage time, I don't think so. And then we know, and the bombshell today, like you were just saying, Quantum Break will not be at E3. I'm just thinking to myself, what are they going to show? What's going to fill that time? Because we've all been thinking that the Quantum Break, we're going to get to see a live demo of this game, and then we're not going to see it. So
we're not going to
what's going to take its place? And I've done some digging, man. I've done a lot of digging. And Platform Next is one of the new studios that they opened up going back 3 or 4 years ago. Same thing with LXP, Leap Experience Pioneers. Right. I've looked on the linked profiles, looked some of the actual guys that are with the companies, their backgrounds, and what maybe any insights into what the type of game they may be making is. The thing I keep coming back to is a lot of the staff that makes up both of those teams is conformed of guys who have a lot of experience with Kinect. So we're talking about how they need to show off this Kinect earlier in the podcast. We were talking about that, and I think we're going to see some of that. I really do, man. I think LXP and Platform Next are going to actually have something there to show us, possibly Big Park as well. Matter of fact, I think Big Park is confirmed to be there.
Yeah, I did see Big Park.
And we all know they are a Kinect studio, so.
I think they may, if everything goes right, they may show off the Fortaleza, the Fortaleza glasses. I believe that's what it's called. The Fortaleza glasses. I think that if they do that in combination with Kinect, and it's proven to be right, it will be great. I mean, listen, I read a rumor that that they had Shenmue using this AR technology. And basically what would happen is you would be in a living world in Shenmue. You would go to, let's say you would go to the store to pick something up, and the AR would kick in. And instead of you being in the game, that person would be standing next to you and looking right at you in your face through these glasses. And objects you could pick up in the store, when you look at them through the glasses, would be the controller when you look at your hand. It would literally turn the controller into whatever you had picked up in the store, like it was actually in your hand. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not VR. VR is putting this headset on and making you feel like you're in the world. This shit is bringing the game to life. And if they get that to work, if you feel like the people are in your living room, that is going to blow people's minds. And
it's been confirmed they spent $150 million on this project, so
it's gonna be crazy. Whatever they show at E3, if it has anything to do with AR or a real Connect experience, it's definitely going to be mind-blowing. What are your thoughts, B?
With them taking Connect out of the box, it already took me to a place where I thought that they were going to have to show something with Connect. I think it's a smart strategy because you can try to please everyone, and then if you show off something big at E3 that actually utilizes the Connect, then it's like a win-win. So those guys who bought the Xbox without the Connect, now they feel like they have to have it. You know what I mean? So this fall, then I got to run out and buy a Connect because this game is coming out this fall or the upcoming spring. And they showed it off really well, so I gotta have it. So I mean, it's a win-win for Microsoft if it works, and that's the thing. I love the Connect. I use it every day, but the thing that happened is, while you're using it, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So when they show it off, it has to be 100%. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they choose to show off the AR, it has to work 100%. They cannot have a stage hiccup, you know what I'm saying, where it fails on them or it stops or something like that, because then as soon as they do that, then it's over. People are not even going to be interested anymore because they realize that, all right, they couldn't even get it to work on a bigger stage, so why would I spend my money on it and take it to my house?
I want to add something. This is very vital, guys. I want to add something that I took down today on a note that when I was going through the Twitter feed and saw Phil actually talked to me, but he was talking to some other people as well. One Twitter follower asked him if we were going to see his AR technology at E3. Phil's response was, "We'll be focusing on console gaming." So that tells me I think he has shot that idea down. We may not actually see AR there at E3. I think we might see it after. We could see it at Gamescom possibly, but that's probably a conversation we could have for another time when it gets close to Gamescom. But yeah, that's just wanted to throw that out there, guys, because I wrote that down and I kind of let that slip there. I wanted to go ahead and throw that out there to you guys so y'all would know.
I mean, in a way, I think it makes sense. I mean, the last thing you want to do is say you're coming out with a Connect SKU and then come out with a Connect game that's not appealing to the hardcore. So you need to show that people, because even if the game is a Connect game, it's the fact that it's a Connect game. It could be a AAA game. It could be Uncharted 5 with X-ray vision and eye scanning, but it's a Connect game, so nobody's going to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that says a lot. But here's a list of games. I'm going to say a list of games. And I want you guys to tell me 2 games that you think, if Microsoft had them. I mean, listen, once again, this isn't a fact. This isn't true. This isn't a rumor. This is just a list of games that I came up with from some things that I've seen across the net. And I want you guys to let me know which one of these games you think would be a megaton for Xbox and could easily win them E3. So I'm going to go start right now. You have Half-Life 3, Final Fantasy 7, Shenmue 3, Conquer 2, Phantom Dust, Banjo-Kazooie 3, Enslaved 2, Skies of Arcadia, Project Gotham Racing 5, Perfect Dark, or Fallout 4. Now, of those games, if Microsoft got an exclusive title, which one could shut E3 down and instantly win them E3?
That's tough, man, because so many of those games appeal to so many people. But if you want the biggest audience, you might have to go Final Fantasy. But if you want, people who are in love with Rare, and I've been asking Phil for Banjo 3 every day.
Man, everybody, man. Get in line.
I Banjo every day. So I mean, if it was Banjo, I would go absolutely nuts. Or Perfect Dark. I mean, any one of those Rare titles. Because I really want to see Rare get back to form, man. They took Connect out of the box, and Connect Sports Rivals. I own that game. It's not that good, so I need them to get back to what they do best. But if you want to reach the biggest audience, Final Fantasy would have to be it. And then maybe a Banjo or Perfect Dark.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I kind of agree with that sentiment. I'm gonna say Banjo. Banjo. If they announced Banjo in the traditional style platform game, it would just. I know the people at E3, the media types at E3 would go crazy, but everybody watching themselves, most people that know about that franchise would be ecstatic, and I think that would create a lot of excitement, definitely for Microsoft at E3. But I don't think personally, I don't think it's really done there. I think there's probably a couple. There's two. I think there's probably 2 megatons. And
there will definitely be 2 megatons.
And I've been hearing that too from a fellow Twitter follower, Shinobi. Shinobi is claiming that they're an insider that supposedly breaks a lot of leaks.
Right.
He's claiming that Microsoft, he's hearing, has 2 megatons and Sony has 1. So we should really, we should definitely guess maybe 2 of all those games you listed, because I think that's a very legitimate list. And we're going to see something, 2 games out of that list. Now, I'll throw this out here at you, just so y'all know that Ruffian Games, that makes Crackdown.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe that's going to be one of the games they're going to announce. It's
Crackdown 3.
Yeah, Crackdown 3. Yeah. I think it will be announced. Just wanted to touch base on that. And also, I believe Microsoft is looking to acquire Ruffian Games. So Ruffian will be absorbed into Microsoft Game Studios. So.
You think they'll announce it this early? I mean, because I think Crackdown could definitely be a big franchise. I mean, the first one was really good. The second one wasn't as good, but I mean, it still was a good game. But if you announce that this early, when do you slot that game to come out? Because I mean, you'll have Halo next year. Gears would be the following year. Do you really want to push it out?
I'm thinking of 2016. I'm thinking of 2016 release, probably first half of the year. Gears second half of the year. I think that seems very legitimate. I think that's what's going to happen. There's been so many rumors whether Ruffian's working on Crackdown or whether they're working on this Battletoads digital download. Right. I mean, you got to think which one seems more viable. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but, Ruffian was working on Streets of Rage for Sega. And that game looked fantastic. And it was going to just be a downloadable type of game for the Xbox Live Arcade. Would have totally worked. Right. I know Phil's a gamer, man. So if Phil got wind of that, it's possible that Battletoads could be the game they're working on from a smaller standpoint. Maybe they got a small crew. I mean, I think Ruffian... Does anybody know how many they employ? Ruffian, how big that studio is?
Nah.
I know when they did Crackdown, the first Crackdown, they were just over like 100 employees. So, I mean, it could have grown by then. I haven't checked it since the second game.
Yeah, and then, it could have grown by then. It could be possible they got 2 projects going. Maybe they're finishing up Battletoads. Maybe that is a real thing, and that's actually being polished and finished up as we speak. And then Crackdown, it feels already green lighted for them to start Crackdown after. And they might have a trailer for us at E3. I don't suspect any gameplay, Bmuny. So I'm not trying to say they're going to show any gameplay, but maybe just a trailer, just to announce maybe the name of it. Have maybe a character that might be in the game, like CGI or something like that, just to get people kind of excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that definitely could work. I mean, if you look back at last year's E3, there was like a Crackdown orb was like on the screen for like a hot second when they were going through the dashboard. So, I mean, I definitely expect it to come. You'd be excited if they announced it.
Yeah, man, I was doing some more digging. Yeah, y'all guys just might as well call me the digger, all right? Because I'm going to be the one digging up the inside info for you. But, hey, I did today, there was some mention about about Phil and about some of these game announcements. And he did let something out that two of these game announcements that he's going to be making at E3 are going to really give him put a big smile on his face. I don't know if y'all remember seeing that or not, but you guys got to think about it. He has stated that how much he loves Crackdown. He stated it countless times. But he's also, and I think he's a pretty big avid fan of Halo 2. Now, there's another thing, though, that I want to throw out there. This guy is a big-time Mech Assault, Mech Commander fan. I know y'all have seen that, where anytime I ever mention it, he always responds. So he's definitely, man, I don't know if he's throwing something out, but the way he responds, Bmuny, I know you've seen it. The way he responds, it just leaves a little bit to be desired, like, whoa, man, well, that was really prompt. So I'm just thinking, is there something going on with that? Is there is that Mech Commander game that was supposed to come out on 360 resurfaced on Xbox One?
That could be interesting, especially, I mean, with the success of Titanfall. I think what they would have to do is definitely give it a deeper story, than what Titanfall gave us. But, I mean, this is the right time. This is the right time for it.
It would definitely be a smart replacement, being that Titanfall is possibly going multi-platform, probably over the next 2 years. So having their own mech game in the style of a Mech Assault would be really cool. But I just want to say that I think that if they had to choose from this list, I think the Megaton would have to be now the realistic Megaton could possibly be Shenmue 3 and Final Fantasy 7. I think Shenmue 3 only because it's such a cult classic. You have so many people begging for the end of that trilogy. You could easily come out with a HD 1 and 2 remake this fall and release 3 next year. And obviously Final Fantasy 7 with the whole Square debacle and Sony thing that happened. But if you really want to drop Jaws and you really want to shut down, if they worked out something with Steam and they got Half-Life 3 on the Xbox One in a Steam app, there was no way Sony could compete with Microsoft at that point. And it's a simple exchange. It's a simple exchange. Right now, Steam is using OpenGL. If they work out a deal with Microsoft where they can be allowed to use DX12 for the Windows platform, and in return, Microsoft gets a Steam app and Half-Life 3 exclusively on consoles, there's no possible way. That would be the biggest showstopper of the whole entire game. This is a game that has been in limbo since PS2. This is going on like 15 freaking years now. Like, it's crazy. This is crazy. I mean, you got grown men in their 40s waiting for this game. It's a big title. If they announce that and they say anything that has to do with Microsoft, I think that would be a showstopper in itself.
Yeah, I agree, man. The Shenmue 3 is a wishful one. I keep hearing, and of course, I'm looking at this stuff and trying to find some inside information. But the Shenmue 3, I keep hearing is Yu Suzuki he's ready. He wants
Right.
to finish it at this point. You know,
Right.
he was even at GDC, right? He was at GDC and he did a conference there. He did a conference there talking about the game and the characters and the story from the first two games, and talking about the technology at that time and how it's advanced. You know, he wants to finish the series, and there was some nugget of information. I think it's been a few months now, where they were saying there was someone that had interviewed him, and he stated that he was close to finishing the game. So that means somebody's talking to him.
Yeah,
Is it
somebody's
Sony or
definitely
is it
talking.
Microsoft?
That's the
Who's
question.
putting the money up?
That's a great question, and we will find out in about a week and a half. And you know, hopefully the things that we want will be here, and hopefully Microsoft knocks our socks off, and we will be amazed. Well, that was it tonight for the Inner Circle. I just want to thank you guys for popping in tonight, having a great conversation, and you know, just going over some games and letting people know what Microsoft has in store, or what they could possibly have in store. This is the Inner Circle. You can check us out in about 2 weeks, right after E3. We'll have another show up that following Friday for you guys to check out as we review all the games that were shown at E3 and take a gander at what could possibly be shown at Gamescom. Appreciate the listen. Please subscribe to our channel, and just look down in the bio area for information on following any of the guys here today, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good day.